Hi, I'm Hazel. It's Saturday again, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I've been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, Ian gave an interview with PCGamer. Kind of. It was a little strange. There was this article that was largely unrelated and a little surface level, but there were two paragraphs from Ian in it that we haven't heard before. The first paragraph said that in the future of Shadowlands, we're going to new places to further explore the afterlife. Which is a little bit of a given, but nice. And then the second paragraph talked about loot. So they said that while they're happy with PvP loot, they think they can do more to make the experience of running dungeons and raids feel more satisfying when you don't get a specific item you were hoping for. That's the good news that we were looking for, at least a lot of people were looking for, although what that means exactly, we don't know yet. One day we'll find out where they're going with that. The easy solution to making it feel more satisfying to gear through dungeons and raids would be to make them drop a little bit more loot. If I was in charge, which I'm not, but if I was going to tweak things in that department, what I would do is I would just make raid drop like a couple more pieces first and then see how that feels, because Mythic Plus, like Mythic Zeros, I feel like are dropping enough loot. You get a piece off each boss, you can get 184 stuff from Zeros pretty quickly as long as you can chain run them. But Mythic Plus, especially if you're not timing keys, barely puts out anything. However, because there's no weekly lockout on how much Mythic Plus you can run, if you start adding like even just one extra piece guaranteed to every Mythic Plus run, that's going to scale pretty quickly for people that run lots of dungeons just anyways, and then start to outpace raid loot pretty seriously. So because raid loot is on a weekly lockout, if you want to add just like some more without adding like exponentially more, then I feel like an extra piece or two at a raid is a good place to start, and that will also be open to people doing LFR. Or would be, I should be clear. This is a thing in my head that's not real that I would like them to do, but they haven't said they're going to. But anyways, at least we know that they know that it is a little light on loot. I am finding that I had a lucky streak and I got myself fairly quickly up to like 200, 205 or so, but I've had a couple of weeks of raid without any upgrades dropping for me, but I feel like I'm still in a reasonable gear position to continue progressing through the raid, so it's not the end of the world, but I can see where people are coming from, especially because within a raid, a couple of people have just gotten ruined by bad RNG and they're just getting nothing. The other thing that is a weekly lockout that could probably stand to drop a little bit more loot would be maybe world bosses. I've heard quite a few tales of people that are killing world bosses every week on many characters and getting just flat nothing. So you can maybe like open the spigot a teeny tiny little bit on that one too. Related to the topic of dungeon and raid loot, or the lack thereof, I have heard some people say, whether seriously or otherwise, that getting 35 anima instead of a piece of loot feels like less than nothing. And while I agree that it's frustrating, especially at the end of like a really long Mythic Plus dungeon, it is not worse than nothing. I need that 35 anima. You leave it alone. It's been said that nobody is excited about that 35 anima, and they're wrong. It's me. I'm excited about that 35 anima. I just dropped 10k to get my transport network to rank 3, and I don't do a ton of world quests, at least not a ton of the world quests that give anima. I'm usually just doing like Profession or Pet Battle world quests, which don't. So aside from just like the little drippings that I get from running anima missions on my mission table, I don't have a whole lot. And the anima that I'm getting from raids and dungeons is most of what I'm working with. It's not much. I would like to see it be a little bit more. Given that anima is, like, I know the whole theme of the expansion is an anima shortage or whatever, but surely after Castle Nathria, you know, as the adventurers start to like solve some of the problems that we're dealing with, hopefully the amounts of anima that we get start to increase a little bit. I would love to see more anima from dungeons, more anima from raids. I would love to see like maybe some anima from Torghast. Just things other than just world quests, because it's not like it's a currency that's really closely tied to player power. You're not going to ruin the gearing curve by giving people a little bit more anima, or even just giving anima for more activities. Why is... I'm surprised that there's no anima from callings. It seems like an easy place to put a couple hundred anima in, and I would hope that we get more of it as Shadowlands continues, because the cost of getting all of the cosmetics in particular, like if you're looking at your Renown vendor, now that our Renown is catching up a bit, we are starting to be able to buy more of these things, but when it's like thousands and thousands of anima for each individual appearance, I don't know when I'm gonna buy like Covenant armor recolors. I know that I don't need it, but I may never buy it at this rate with how much anima I need for everything else, so I would like to see a little bit more. Speaking of Torghast, this week in WoW is a new Torghast bonus event. It should be very clear this is not like a weekly calendar thing. It does not replace our normal weekly event that is currently World Quest bonus week, and that is still active. But instead, it's just like a fun seasonal Torghast thing. So right now we have Beasts of Prodigum. There will be 2 more special weeks following this one. The Beasts of Prodigum one allows you to kind of like get a Maw pet power at the very beginning of your run, and if you choose that, you'll continue to see more powers that can boost up your Maw pet. If you don't like it and you don't want to do it, all you have to do is not take the Maw pet power first, and then you won't see any more of them. I had fun with this. I did a run on my alt druid, and I picked Torghast, and he and I did very well. It was only a layer 2, so we were going to do fine anyways, but I think this is really good for kind of that application when you're on an alt, you're chewing through relatively easy layers of Torghast, and you're not worried about getting the best build you've ever had in your life, and you just want to do it a little bit differently. I feel like this mixes it up just enough to kind of keep it fresh for that application, so I had fun, although I did find it a little frustrating. I was playing Resto, and I found that I could do pretty well if I would heal Torghast, but I kept losing his frame. Like, I tried to keep a focus target on him so I could get a frame to heal him from really easily, and it kept dropping every time we stealthed, and that was no good. In my life this week, also Torghast related, I got my layer 8 Twisting Corridors solo done. I did it on my Holy Priest, item level like 208, 209 or so, I think at the time. And it was very fun. It took the last wing, layer 8 took me about 3 solid hours. And I even started to rush a little bit at the end because I was late for an appointment, but it got done. I got my Maw mount, and then I went and did 1 day of Maw dailies just to feel how it is with a mount. And it was nice enough, although I rode my mount into Perdition Hold, and then I died in Perdition Hold because I didn't go with a group, and then I remembered why I don't spend a whole lot of time in the Maw, so I haven't been back since. I may go one day, and I feel better knowing that when I go, I'll have a mount, but apparently the mount on its own is not enough to talk me into doing Maw dailies just for fun. Other things I did this week, I got to guest on Fishing with Crendor. I have had that on my bucket list for like a long time. It was really exciting to do. That was a super fun show to record. That video is now up on Crendor's channel. I will link it in the description. It's about an hour-long sort of podcast-style conversation about like WoW and YouTube and Animal Crossing, and I've just looked up to Crendor for a long time. It was one of my original inspirations for getting into YouTube in the first place, so it was so cool to get to do that. Also this week, I have changed my hair. It is now pink, and I like it. You knew that it was pink because you looked at it, unless you just turned on the video and then you like went to go wash some dishes, in which case, check it out, my hair's pink. Questions for this week. Kevin asks, I am fond of pet battles, but they are least of my priorities as I'm a mythic raider. I find them much easier when there's a nice wombo combo team strategy. Is there a new meta? How have your experiences been with the world quests and other mini boss pet battles been? So what I do, because I am lucky enough to already have most of the pets in the game collected and then also like upgraded and leveled, is I just grab whatever teams are on the top of WoW-Pet Guide along with the remat strings and now the TD scripts, pop those all into my add-ons, and then I approach a pet battle, mash my A key. The fight does itself, basically, at that point. I don't need to have more than a passing interest in how it's happening because I have all the pets for it, and the script kind of handles the rest of it from there. I do find that the same kind of usual suspects of combos do pop up. I have a strategy that uses my Nexus Whelpling. There's one that uses the Iron Starlet. You see Icky pop up, Sandalari Ankle Render. A lot of those combos, particularly like the Black Claw Flock combos, have been somewhat nerfed from BFA, so they're not going to work against everything. But against like a water pet, against Jawbone, for example, it's still going to get the job done. So, things haven't changed too much, except that I have gotten lazier about it, and I now just grab all my strategies off of Zufu's Pet Guides, which is a great resource that I will link down below. That IT dude asks, I'm curious of the camera that you use for streaming/recording. So this bad boy is a Sony a7 III. I have a 20mm 1.8 aperture full frame prime lens on it that I like very much. Not right now, actually. That's the lens I stream with. This one is like a 35, I think, at like a 2.8 35mm prime lens. I say as I like squint to try to read the thingy on it, because I remember that I use for recording the news, but the other one is the 20mm. I have all of my recording, streaming, gaming equipment, monitors, cameras, lights, keyboards, microphone, all of that is listed on my Amazon recommendations page in case anybody is ever looking for stuff. And Stefan asks, with the Covenant campaign ending next week, will we only get 2 levels of Renown instead of 3 from then on? Yes. The The Renown cap will only increase by 2 every week from now instead of increasing by 3 because we are now done with the Covenant campaign. And I am a little bit relieved. I feel like that it wasn't that long. It was like, what, 20 minutes of questing on a character in a week to do the Covenant campaign, but it feels good to have like a little part of Shadowlands just kind of like checked off and tied up with a bow and done. I still need to do like the other Covenant campaigns, but it feels like I have one thing out of the way that's going to free up a little bit more time so I can start getting into some more of the stuff that has been backburnered, like collecting and PvP. And that has been my week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a question that you would like me to answer in a news video, please leave it in the comments of the most recent one and include the word question to help me find it. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.